Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Riley McManus. Yesterday on the NewsHour, we reported on the demotion handed to a Thunder Bay police officer for his conviction on 3 Police Act charges. And now, TBT News has obtained police body cam video of the incident, which prompted the investigation. Constable Peter Haas can be seen physically and verbally abusing a man at a city bus shelter. And a warning to viewers, the footage is disturbing.
Who the f*** were you with? Who the f*** were you with?
I just met him outside. I asked him to buy me smokes inside.
Stop f***ing around.
I'm not f***ing around.
Who was it?
Man, I don't know who the f*** it is, man.
Jeez. You're walking with them?
The incident occurred in January of 2022. The Indigenous man was not a suspect in any crime. The 2 officers believed he knew the whereabouts of another man who was wanted on warrants. Haas pleaded guilty last month to discreditable conduct, unlawful use of force, and insubordination for not turning on his body cam. The other officer did, and this evidence was shown at a Police Act hearing in February. Thunder Bay Police immediately suspended Haas following the incident and were seeking his dismissal from the force. However, the hearing officer decided to demote Haas from first class to third class constable for 4 months. He must also undergo training on Indigenous issues and deliver a handwritten apology to the victim involved. The process of updating the Pool 6 waterfront master plan will take center stage at Monday night's Thunder Bay City Council meeting. The master plan was last updated in 2015, and there have been some significant changes in potential projects and priorities for the land since then. Vasilios Bellos reports.
It's been nearly 8 years since the city has updated its waterfront master plan for the Pool 6 lands. Since then, there's been wildly successful cruise ship seasons and several significant projects discussed, including the Art Gallery and Science Center. As a result, the city will be updating the plan for Pool 6, with council discussing it on Monday. The process will begin next month with public consultation allowing the community and stakeholders to have their say in how the land will be developed.
What they like about the existing plan and what they might want to see there now, knowing what the new opportunities are.
City Engineering Director Kayla Dixon says consultation is crucial, considering how priorities have changed since 2015. The previous plan recommended several uses for the property, including a Nordic spa, multi-use field, and a mountain bike area that can be used for skating in the winter. The new Pool 6 plan is expected to be completed in late 2023 or early 2024, with Dixon explaining how it would be used to make future decisions.
Basically, it gives us a long-term direction on what we want to see there, and so then it gives us guidance on how to develop those lands. So it doesn't mean that, the day after we're going to start a specific project, but it does give us what we want that final land use to look like.
The first thing that jumps out to me is this is potentially very exciting.
Councillor Andrew Folds chairs the Waterfront Development Committee and believes there's serious potential at Pool 6. The local CEDC is currently carrying out a best use study for the Pool 6 land based on economic impact. Folds stresses that collaboration between the CEDC and city is crucial moving forward.
Our administration does work closely with the CEDC. They work closely with our administration. So they need to find synergies. And that's one of the reasons why we fund the CEDC, is to find opportunities that are beneficial to the public.
The updated Pool 6 waterfront master plan will come to council for approval in principle either late this year or early 2024. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Construction work is kicking into high gear on a section of River Street that suffered a culvert collapse last year, and there's hope that the busy roadway could be open to traffic again by the end of May. A large sinkhole developed last May, leading to the discovery of a damaged culvert which could not be repaired. Tyrannus Contracting had the winning bid to install a new multi-plate metal arch over McVicker Creek at a cost of $2.5 million. Workers are now prepping the site, which could allow them to pour the first concrete footing by the beginning of April. City project engineer Mike Vogrig says they're on track to hit that deadline and explains the importance of doing so.
We're running into some timing issues. We have to be out of the water starting April 1st. That's when the fish window spawns, or the fish spawning window begins. If the temperatures aren't getting too warm by then, we might be able to get some extension on it, but just basically racing against the clock now to get that one footing in place so we can continue on with the rest of the work.
While the stretch could reopen to traffic in mid to late May, it won't mean the project is complete, as crews are expected to continue working on the River Street throughout this year's construction season. The Thunder Bay downhill skiing community is mourning the tragic loss of a well-known ski racer, instructor, coach, and official. 69-year-old Dennis Beaupre died last week in a skiing accident in Revelstoke, BC. A close friend who was skiing with Beaupre at the time describes it as a freak accident on a fairly easy run. He says another skier crossed Beaupre's path, causing him to change direction and go down a steep section. He then crashed hard at the bottom and did not survive. The friend says Beaupre was well loved and respected by literally everyone in the skiing community. The owners of Loch Lomond Ski Hill are among those offering their condolences. First Nations in the Robinson Superior Treaty Area could be owed more than $100 billion if they are successful in their case against the Crown. The trial is being held in parallel with the Robinson-Huron Treaty annuity case. The last of 3 phases in the historic trial is set to resume in Sudbury on Monday.
It's very historic. This is, we're making history here. Everyone's moving ahead together, working together closely.
Red Rock Chief Marcus Hardy is acting as a spokesperson for the 12 Robinson Superior First Nations who are party to the 1850 treaty. In Phase 1 of the trial, the Supreme Court interpreted the treaty as requiring the Crown to increase annuity payments as resource-based revenues from the territory increase. The annuity was adjusted from $1.6 to $4 per person in 1875, but has not changed since. Economist David Hutchins and Nobel winner Joseph Stiglitz were engaged by Red Rock Indian Band and White Sand First Nation to calculate the value of resource extraction. They argue that over the nearly 150 years since the last adjustment, the First Nations share of revenue should have been $126 billion. In contrast, the government has argued that Ontario actually lost billions supporting resource extraction, and themselves are owed $8 billion. Hardy calls the province's position outrageous and untrue.
The Crown hasn't been honoring their agreements, since 1850. This will give our people in the whole territory, in the Robinson Superior Territory, healthcare, schools. They might have the ability to actually be self-sovereign and govern themselves as we should. It's going to bring Minno B'Matswin. It means the good life, right? And that's what we're all striving for.
The case, which has been ongoing since 2001, is expected to wrap up this September, with Hardy saying a final decision on the matter could be heard in the summer of 2024. Ontario's Integrity Commissioner is hitting the pause on a request from the NDP to investigate whether Premier Doug Ford acted improperly in relations to his daughter's stag and doe party. With more, here's Siobhan Morris.
The Integrity Commissioner isn't shutting it down, but is putting a probe of the Premier's daughter's stag and doe and wedding on the back burner. The NDP has asked whether Doug Ford broke ethics rules. We know developers, longtime family friends, were at both events. Some of them stand to benefit from redrawing the Greenbelt.
Yeah, I think I've addressed this a dozen times. I went to the Integrity Commissioner, he cleared me, so next question.
With the Premier's blessing, the Commissioner is sharing what Ford told him after a reporter came calling. J. David Wake writes that Premier Ford says he stayed clear of wedding planning, leaving that to his wife, daughters, and their friends. He denied receiving any financial contribution attached to the wedding, said he had no knowledge of any gifts to his daughter and son-in-law, and that no government business was discussed. Wake says there isn't an issue with money shelled out for stag and doe tickets or wedding gifts unless the cash went to the Premier.
I think that there's two things here. One is, does it break the current laws? And the other question is, are the current laws strong enough? And, I think that most Ontarians know that there's something doesn't smell right here.
A separate ethics probe on the Greenbelt file is ramping up. The Integrity Commissioner is looking into whether the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing may have tipped off developers about coming changes before they were announced. Wake says he's asked for documents, including from the government.
He's preparing to summon witnesses and digging into other materials. So that sounds to me like he's at least seen something there that really does trouble him.
Minister Steve Clark has said he looks forward to being cleared of wrongdoing.
And that was Siobhan Morris reporting. The Port of Thunder Bay is getting ready for the start of the shipping season next week. CEO Tim Heaney says the Samuel Risley icebreaker will start its work next Thursday.
Yeah, it should be here on the 23rd, coming through the lock on the 22nd. So that'll be to break up the ice in the harbor. The ice is quite a bit less than last year. There's about 9% ice coverage on the lake versus 48% last year.
Heaney says the first ship to move around the harbor will be this one, the CSL Welland, which will be moving to one of the local elevators to fill up with grain before it heads to the lower lakes. The first ship to arrive in Thunder Bay won't be here until after the Soo locks open on the 25th. Heaney says due to last year's successful grain harvest on the prairies, he's expecting the port to be very busy this year.
And we have our first ocean ship coming into Kiefer first week of April, towards the end of the week. So that'll be an early start for us, and everybody's getting ready for the grain season, which should be fairly strong this spring. So we think it'll get going pretty early and stay strong throughout the spring and the summer.
Local school kids are still in the middle of their March break, and it's meant busy times at Mount Baldy. The ski hill has been running camps all week for skiers and snowboarders of all age groups. And while this week off has been plenty of fun for the kids, it's been equally beneficial for Mount Baldy, which has been enjoying its best ski season in years. Mike Lang reports.
March break has been another successful week for Mount Baldy, which is busier than it has ever been since before the pandemic. Kids who are off from school have been enjoying the camps the mountain has offered, or simply taking part in ski days with family and friends. Co-owner Daniel Cardis says he has seen as many as 500 to 600 people at a time at Mount Baldy this week.
It's been an exciting last 2 months with the chairlift running, which has been amazing, and all the support from the community and everyone in Thunder Bay and around surrounding areas. I've never seen so many people at Baldy in my life, and hopefully we'll just keep up the good vibes and keep everyone coming out.
The chairlift finally opened earlier this winter after the ski hill had to wait over 2 months for approval from the TSSA. It has allowed the mountain to meet the heightened demand of the first post-pandemic ski season. Mount Baldy has been able to offer both half-day and full-day camps for skiing and snowboarding for kids of all age groups, which has given many the opportunity to try each activity for the first time. Are you having fun today?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your favorite part about skiing?
Skiing downhill.
Going downhill? Do you like going really fast?
It's really fun being here and learning a new sport for the first time.
Honestly, you get a chance to meet new people, make friends, live a bit.
It's not only an exciting day for kids enjoying their time off from spring break, as Cardis is looking forward to the snow that's being forecast in the next 24 to 48 hours. And as you can tell, it's already started to fall.
Well, you can never go wrong with a nice white blanket of snow, especially at a ski hill. Stuff starts looking a little bit brown here and there, but we get that snow that'll just extend the season a little bit longer, and hopefully the temps will stay reasonable so it doesn't melt right away, and then everyone could enjoy it, hopefully going into April. And after that, we'll see what happens. I mean, last season it just kept going, and we'll see what happens this season. But hopefully everyone will come out and enjoy the new fresh powder coming tomorrow.
Once the ski season is over, Mount Baldy is planning to host its annual Mud and Suds run in June for the first time since the pandemic. Mike Lang, TBT News.
Due to technical issues, Fiona Gardner will be joining us later on in the news hour with information on tonight's winter storm. And tragedy coming from Edmonton today, where 2 police officers were shot and killed in the line of duty. We'll have all those details for you as your Thursday news hour continues.
Tributes to the fallen officers are coming from close and far. In Calgary, flags are at half-mast at police headquarters